Hey guys, Eric here. I'm here to teach you a little bit of math that we're going to be using for our level 3 class. So in our level 3 class, we go over servo motors once again. This time though in a lot more depth because we need to have a more intimate understanding of how the duty cycle works in order to use Python to work our servo motors. So because of this, we kind of see a little bit more math happen. We pull back the curtain a little bit more, and you end up being able to use equations of lines pretty effectively to discuss the way your servo motor moves. So I'm going to try and help you get through that math if you struggle with those sorts of algebra concepts. So I have here on my sheet of paper so far 2 points. I have 0, 2 and 180, 18. So these are the points I found by cranking the duty cycle as far in either direction as I could and still see a difference in the motion. So I found that one of the numbers was 2. If I put the duty cycle at 2, I would go as far counterclockwise as possible. And when I set the duty cycle at 18, I saw it go as far clockwise as possible. Now I know these servo motors are supposed to have a range of 0 degrees to 180 degrees, essentially half a circle. So I said, okay, I'll associate the 2 with an angle of 0 and the 18 with an angle of 180. So that's where we're starting with just these 2 points. Now remember, when you're graphing on a xy plane, so in this direction is x and this direction is y, remember that the first number is associated with x and the second number is associated with y when you're just talking about your points. So our angles will be our x and our duty cycle numbers will be our y. So the first thing we want to do if we're trying to make this equation of the line is we need to find the slope, which is typically represented by the letter m. So the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, don't get too confused about this. This just means the x and y of a single point with the x and y of the other point. So for example, I could say this first point here is my x1, y1, and the second point here is my x2, y2. So I would just have to plug these in accordingly. So I would say 18 minus 2 over 180 minus 0 leaves me with 16 over 180. I've already done the math there, so don't think I'm a genius or anything for being able to do that reduction. So I end up with 4 over 45. So that is my slope for this line. So I'm going to use another formula, and this is called point-slope form, to go from having my slope and having a couple of points to the full-on equation of a line. X minus x1. All right, so for this one, I want to leave the ones that don't have a subscript blank. So this y will remain y, this x will remain x. It's just y1 and x1 that I replace with actual numbers. So I'm going to replace these two things with the values from one of my points. Not both points. I just need one of my points to make this work. And then I will replace m with 4/45, the value we found earlier. So I think I'm going to pick the first point here, 0, 2, just because I feel that's going to make things easy. Smaller numbers, the better. So let's see, y1 in this case is 2. M was 4 over 45. And then I have x minus x1, which is 0. Okay, so this math's fairly straightforward, or this 0, I can just forget about it, right? So I have y minus 2 is equal to 4 over 45 x. And then I can add the 2 across to get, I think I'll just rewrite it like this. I prefer that, plus 2. So this is the equation of my line right here. So what this lets me do is this lets me figure out any angle that I could want between 0 and 180. So let's say, for example, I want my robot to go to an angle of 30, then go to an angle of 15, then go to an angle of 60, then go to an angle of 115 or 95. So I can figure out the exact duty cycle numbers that I need to input into my code using this equation. I say, okay, what angle do I want? I plug it in here, do some math. Hopefully you'll have a calculator. And then I get out a value that I put into my code for the duty cycle. So that's about it. That's all I had for you guys today. I hope this helps. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, maybe some suggestions on how I can improve this explanation, or if you just want to provide further explanation in the comments to people who might be watching, feel free to do so. Till next time, you guys, I'll see you later.